Was affectionately known as Mahlathini following his participation in one of our first and most successful TV shows to put a number of comedians on one platform, the Pure Monate Show, which brought the funny back into South African comedy over a decade ago. Can you believe it? Chris Forrest is one of our most recognized stand-up comedy practitioners, and his latest show, titled Who Is Your Daddy?, will be at the National Arts Festival in Grahamstown next month. He joins me in studio to tell me more. I'm smiling at Who's Your Daddy because I had a conversation with somebody yesterday about their daddy. Who's your daddy, Chris Forrest?
My daddy is a wonderful man. His name's David Forrest. Well, as far as I know, he's my dad. There's some issues. We do everything exactly the same, though. We do mannerisms, all of that, except that he's black and I'm white. I don't know. Besides that.
Talk to me about this new show. Chris Forrest headlining a new comedy show, Who's Your Daddy? What's the inspiration and why are you back on stage?
The inspiration is I became a dad.
Wow.
Yes, well, I think it's mine. No, I'm kidding. She looks exactly like me, and hopefully she's going to grow out of that. But I became a dad, and then you just go through a whole lot of stuff. I'm sure everyone who's had a child knows what I'm talking about. It's quite a process from when your wife first gets pregnant up until it's
D-Day.
D-Day, even after D-Day, those first few months are hectic, and now it's quite fun.
Because you know the interesting thing, it's so funny, and I can't wait to hear what you're a new father, right?
Yes.
So this is your first one. How old is the baby?
She's now 18 months.
18 months. So you've been through the trenches.
Definitely.
So you talk to me about the kind of content. Are you watching your little one? Is it your daily interactions? That was funny. Let me go and put that down on paper.
It's a bit of that. Well, the show should have been written a while ago, but I was suffering from sleep deprivation, so it's taken me a year. But it's not just her. It's also like how other people react. You know, people giving you. Everyone's got advice for you. Even people who've never had children in their lives, they're going to tell you how to raise your kid. Let me tell you why your child's crying. Tell me. Yeah, and then kind of how you deal with that, and because a lot of people won't tell you the truth as well.
Yeah.
You know, they just, it's such a blessing. No, it's not a blessing.
And you know what?
She's fantastic.
It's so funny that they don't talk about the kind of almost warlike communication between you and your partner. After 2 or 3 weeks of not sleeping, you're having arguments with your eyes.
Yes, well, not even just with your eyes. We had it with our mouths mostly. Because you get very tense and you haven't slept, and this child just won't stop crying, and you don't know why, and then it's just so much fun. It's such a blessing.
How does that impact your comedy? Because, I mean, it obviously gives a new perspective on life to Chris Forrest. We've seen you as a comedian. You've had a very public growing up as a comedian in our space, on TV, on radio, newspapers, magazine shows. How has your perspective changed? Has it changed?
It has in a lot of ways. I think I've become more sort of that way based, because as a comedian you write about the world around you, and then as a new dad the world around you is basically nappies and baby monitors and breast pumps and that kind of thing. So it became that, hence the show, because you write about what you know, and I didn't know anything but changing stations for a while.
How? Because we understand your humor. Your humor is it's obvious. It's slightly maybe off cue sometimes. How do you now shift to talk about something that affects us on a day-to-day basis? I mean, for anybody who's a parent, then you've got to make it funny, and then you're headlining it at Grahamstown. Do you feel a bit of pressure?
I feel a lot of pressure. No, it's just kind of, I think comedy is all about observations. So it's all the observations I've made. I think my point of view might be completely different from, say, yours. I mean, do you have children?
I've got 2.
You have 2 children?
Yeah.
And you look very fresh. But I suppose anybody who's watching the show at this time in the morning, the odds are good they have kids, because they've woken up at 6. Yeah, so...
Not because you want to.
No, to see you, obviously. I mean, but that's just the ladies. I'm talking about the gents. So
whatever.
Flattery will get you everywhere.
Yeah.
So I don't think there's too much pressure. It's what I've been doing, but it's now a completely different angle for me. So from that point of view, it's been really fun to write, and we're not talking about people in Parliament. We're talking about people in the bedroom next door to us.
What are we going to expect from the show? Who's Your Daddy? For those that haven't been to a Chris Forrest show, we want them to come very quickly.
We do want them to come very quickly. It's It's just basically, like I say, there's not too much more I can say about it. It's my experiences as a a husband of a pregnant woman and as a dad for the first sort of while. And if you can't make it to Grahamstown, you can come and watch at the Maboneng district at the Pop Art Theatre on Friday as well. In fact, there's a whole Grahamstown preview thing happening there, the F word.
Okay, fantastic. We're going to find out more. I'm going to get the details from you and going to list it at the end of our program. That's comedian Chris Forrest. We're running out of time fast. Apparently I'm over. Speaking to us about his new show titled Who Is Your Daddy, which premieres at Joburg at Pop Art on Friday before heading to the National Arts Festival, where he'll be on stage from the 3rd to the 13th at the Scout Hall. You can visit his website. It's www.chrisforrest.co.za.